Morning, Trainiac. So we have a bit of a trip to my favorite gym in all of Winnipeg, hands down. Pure lifestyle, good friends, awesome trainers. Bit of an injury. I'll explain. Well, that was good. That was very good. Let me update you. Okay, I think that was extremely productive. I am very excited about what we're working on there. Allow me to explain. By the way, spirulina, SP2 Life. Hands down, best spirulina frozen pods in the business. I think they're the only ones in the business. So gym at Pure Lifestyle, originally it started out with two friends that are like friends between themselves, friends of mine who we do a lot of riding with, and they are endurance athletes themselves. One is a strength trainer who started the gym side of it. The other was a physiotherapist who started a physiotherapy clinic. They took me through the long marathon swim that I did in 2013 or 2014, 27K, and kept me healthy there. And it's just consistently grown year over year that endurance athletes from all over Winnipeg come here. So now what they've got, this is like totally unsponsored. This is just like, I think where gyms are going and where they should be. So what they've got is a strength training gym. Whole bunch of strength and conditioning coaches. What they have in addition to that, full physiotherapy clinics. And then what's really nice is that because the gym is right attached to it, they have the physiotherapists that just walk in, like they took me in there and started showing me all of the strength training movements. Sometimes, if there's a bunch of movements, they'll give you a workout and you go in, and then for 45 minutes after your physiotherapy session, you go and you do your workout. And they've got some of the best equipment. Actually, I forgot, they've also got a arrangement with Daryl Hurry, the guy who is doing all the me cycling underwater testing. He does a lot of his metabolic and performance testing out of there as well. And what they've just opened up is a medical clinic in addition to that for sports medicine. So what can happen is your doctor can say, all right, well, you need physiotherapy. You can go here. Then the physiotherapist will say, all right, well, here's the rehab work. You can go over into the strength area where they've got all the functional movement stuff, the kettlebells, the medicine balls. They've got, an Olympic lifting area. They've got a Woodway treadmill. So jealous of that. Bikes that you can warm up with. And then it's sometimes one-on-one coaching, sometimes like one-on-three coaching. And then the physiotherapist can also say, all right, well, maybe you need to go back to your doctor because you could potentially do some good by seeing these sports medicine doctors. I like Blake, I like JF, the owners. Despite Blake beating me in a sprint a couple years ago in a fairly big race, and JF out mountain biking me yesterday on the fat bike. Besides that, great guys. All right. Let's go swim, and then I'll bring you up to speed on this foot issue. It's not really an issue, just kind of an issue. You know the best thing about Winnipeg winters as a triathlete? Is putting on a swim trunk that's been outside in your car for a few hours. There's nothing like cold, damp swim trunks. Warm the heart. Rest week recovery swims? Thank you, Lord, i.e. Coach Jerry Rodriguez, Tower 26. Yeah. 2,150 meters in 44 minutes. Lots of fins, lots of snorkel, lots of band, lots of pull.
Not a lot of intensity. I like it. All right, let's talk about my feet. If you don't like feet, you might want to tune out now. Watch viewership drop off. Okay, so here's the deal. You all might be saying, hey Taren, you are always injured. You had the Achilles last year. You just came off of a slipped disc. Now you're going in for more foot problems. Well, what you might notice is that I train through all of this. I also still race and raced successfully. So it's not like I'm just pushing past really serious debilitating injuries. What I'm doing here is I'm addressing nicks, niggles, things that come up that just happens being a triathlete before they become massive injuries. Lesson number 1 for the day. I wasn't planning on that lesson, but I expected a fair bit of comments from people like, Taren, you are just a wreck. No, I'm addressing things before I become a wreck. Okay, let me explain the foot right now. So I present you with a foot. Typically what happens in a running stride is your leg bends forward and it comes over top of the toes. And that places stress on the Achilles tendon. Now in my case, because I sprained my right ankle so many times as a kid skateboarding, when I'm running, the lower leg isn't able to move quite as far as the left leg. And instead of all of that stress being placed on the Achilles, it's now all of a sudden being placed on the top of the foot. So I get a little bit of pain right in between the big toe and the second toe because that is what is apparently taking all the load. And it's like, I'm still running. I can still run normally. I don't feel it at all, but it's just like, it's like a little bruise. And I know that with feet, because there's so many things going on and they take so much pounding as triathletes, I want to get that bruise taken care of before it becomes an issue. So for my pals at Pure, I've got these 3 movements that I want to show you. I'm hopeful about this, okay? Here, let me just show you what I mean. With my left foot, I can pull it. We'll go this far away from the wall and easily touch my knee to the wall. And let's say that goes all the way to that point on the Apple Pencil. With the other foot, I can only go about that far away from the wall. We're talking here a difference of an inch, but when we're talking degrees of range of motion, quite significant. Here are the movements. First thing the guy says is, do you have weights at home? And I'm like, you know who you're talking to? Yeah, of course. What we're gonna do is, right foot, we're trying to increase that range of motion to go forward. So I get my leg up on a bench, and then I take a heavy weight, put it on top of the knee, make sure that the heel stays down on the bench, and I lean forward. Ooh, yeah. Keep that heel down and just rock back and forth. And that is going to just slowly increase the amount of movement that I've got flexing that knee forward. Next one, I take a tennis ball, and where most people have done a little bit of footwork with like a spiky ball or a trigger point ball, we're doing something a little bit differently with the tennis ball. Instead of stepping on the tennis ball and rolling it out, which you need a really hard ball for, instead we use it for compression. So look at how wide my foot is right now, and then we grind into the tennis ball. You see that my foot just got a little bit wider? That is basically taking all of the metatarsals and it's forcing them to be just a little bit spread out. So it's kind of taking the pressure off of that middle space in between the big toe and the second toe that is currently causing just that little bit of bruising. And then the third thing is that I am a fan of toe yoga. On the virtual camp this weekend, I prescribed toe yoga to just about every athlete that was there. Let me explain. Avert your eyes if you don't like toes. Toe yoga is where you try to press down with your big toes while lifting up your piggies. And then going from that to pressing down the piggies and lifting up the big toes. And then doing about 10 reps of pressing down the big toes and lifting up the piggies. And going back and forth like that is again spreading out all of those metatarsals in each way. Last thing that I'm going to do, this wasn't from the physiotherapist, but he said, I like that idea. I have good ideas sometimes. I spend like all day, every day walking around in these UFOs just to take a little bit of load off the feet, but I think it's probably got to the point that my feet could use a little bit of movement throughout the day. So in the morning, in the evening, I'll wear these, and then I just bought myself a pair of Vibram 5 fingers. I am not running in them, but I'm just using them to walk around throughout the day just to give my feet a little bit of undulation as I'm walking around here, going back and forth inside the house, and that'll just give my feet a little bit more chance to move. There, that's what's up right now. So, ladies and germs, make sure that you address injuries before they become injuries. Nicks and niggles need to be taken seriously. Rule of thumb, if you feel something for 3 weeks or longer, go get it looked at because there's some sort of underlying issue that's causing that. If you aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below, and if you are subscribed, a little tidbit for you. I was voted best feet in grade 9. And you know what? The physiotherapist today, I took off my socks and he's like, got yourself some nice feet. I'm like, I know, I've been hearing it since grade 9. Now you know. Later, Trainiacs.